Slugfest, solo and cooperative super gaming by, oh, he's so modest, Scott Pyle. You might remember that name, Scott Pyle. He's the genius behind this game that I haven't played on the channel yet, Goal System Delves, and this masterpiece, which we have seen on the channel, Void Pirate, Sci-Fi Skirmish Gaming. This is not really a review of this game, because I'm not going to play it. And I don't like reviewing things until after I've played them, for the most part. You helping me out, Biscotti? Sweet. Instead, it's going to be more of a flip through and kind of thoughts and stuff on it. And I really wanted to talk to you about this because it gelled some thoughts that have been simmering in my back brain for a while. The core of this, you know, some of you guys, this is the most important thing to talk about. Oh, look, it's got a cover and it's spiral bound. I bought it on Lulu. I'm going to throw a link in the description if it sounds like something you would enjoy. I'm not going to give a recommendation either way. I'm just going to tell you why I'm not going to wind up playing this. The paper's great. The art is color, and it's, it is what it is. It's fine. I'm not an artologist, so I can't tell you a whole lot about it. I can tell you that the mechanics of this game are very simple. It's a D20 system, and when it comes to combat, which, I mean, it's called Slugfest. Combat's a pretty heavy part of it. You do an opposed D20 roll. It's a skill-based system where you roll a D20, add a skill. Whoever has the highest roll, they win the combat. And then you take that roll with the skill modified in, and you subtract out an armor value, and that's how many damage you do. That's a great, clean, streamlined system. And if it sounds familiar, it's probably because you've seen it before in a number of other games. The most recent one that I can think of is, I think it's what Silver Bayonet uses. All of those, what's that feller's name, McCullough? He did the Frostgrave, right? And I've never played Frostgrave. And reading through Slugfest showed me why. It reminded me and kind of crystallized why I don't do Frostgrave. And we'll get to that in a minute. But before we do, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Planet 28. I know it seems like we're all over the place. It's all connected. Just wait. Put your tinfoil hat on and we'll make those connections. So Planet 28 is a game that just didn't work for me. Again, I'm not saying whether it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's not for me. And I realized after reading Slugfest why that is. And the deal with Planet 28 is that it is a skill-based system where you roll to hit. And that's just whoever's the attacker rolls to hit. If you hit, then you slide on over to an opposed roll system. And what happens in that opposed roll system depends on what you roll. It's the weapon damage versus the defender's armor. And so if both of those rolls are low, then doesn't mean a whole lot. If both of those rolls are high, because you're subtracting the armor roll from the attack roll, if the defender rolls high and the attacker rolls low, nothing happens even though he hit. It's only when the attacker rolls high and the defender rolls low that you have anything really going on. Now, couple these in and just generically take a look at, how often you're going to hit to even get to this stage of the game. Call it 50-50, right? And now that you're here, you've only got a 1 in 4 chance of having a real effect. So what that means is, on any given game, you're going to have to attack 8 times before you hit this magic square, right? Okay, so you're going to have to hit 4 times to have kind of a small effect, and you can kind of bleed a guy down. But, I mean, even if you hit, there's still a 1 in 4 chance. Again, the odds are kind of, wiggly on this one. But I think you understand what I'm saying. You have to go through an awful lot to have anything happen in Planet 28. And the beauty of the Slugfest system, or if you want to call it the Frostgrave system, is that because you leap right into this attacker-defender opposed roll system, first of all, you eliminate the step of having to get here. And then you run into a situation where if both people roll low, well, nothing's going to happen. So this becomes a frowny face. If the defender rolls low and the attacker rolls high, you still have, yeah, boy. If they both roll high, oh, well, because the defender roll just drops out, you still have, hey, look, something happens. And then over here, you have something happens. The defender hits. Right, so here, on any given opposed roll, you've got things happening 3 out of 4 times. This is a system that suits my gaming way better. And if this is a system that suits your gaming, which it probably does given the sales number, for Frostgrave and the ancillary games that have used similar mechanics like Slugfest, then hey, give Slugfest a shot. Why am I not going to play Slugfest? Well, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. And it all boils down to prep time. There's two things. You have two choices. You can play in the Slugfest universe that was created by Scott R. Pyle. And if you play in that universe, it has a very Silver Age comic book feel. This game, here, let's take a look real quick at how quick the rules blow by. I mean, we're on page, so I guess just logistics, right? This is almost 180, it's like 200 pages of fun. That's a pretty good value. It's like $30 over on Lulu. But, as I say, the actual rules of the game are only about 30 pages, right? 28 pages here. We're already up to the powers. And so you're doing powers or more, character creation. You got about 30 pages of powers. And then you got about 30 pages of, here's Big Pharaoh, Dragonfly, the let's call it the Pyleverse. Dragonfly, looks like there's two of them. Dragonfly Girl, Dragonflyette, the Last Ape, Jack Slasher, right? And if you Jaguaro. And then we get into, here we are on page, what is this? Like, there's a couple of pages of campaign, nothing too fancy there, building your legend, and then a super team. And then we get into, so here's page 86, the heist. And the rest of the book is dedicated towards, hey, look, a quick reference sheet. Osprey. Oh, this is about as good as Osprey. Spread over 3 pages. Bruh. Well, maybe there's a better one in the back here. They do have a roster. It's very tiny. You're going to want to make your own or dig around online so you can find a better one. Super Foes. Trademark. All right, so we're past that. We're down to maps, hex, and grids, and optional rules, blah, 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 more fate, more AP, whatever. All right, so here's some more teams. But look, 86 to about 180. You got 90 pages worth of adventures you can go through. So what's the problem, Mr. Wargaming? And the adventures come with a nice little map. We'll zoom in on that, right? So, hey, there's trees, and there's a van and a car, and I don't even know what those are. I'm not going to go through it all. But basically, these adventures all have a very similar process. Zero anomaly. That's pretty good. Like the hair. Very diverse. Love it. What was I saying? Well, I'm talking about setup. And then, all right, so they uses the same trick where we add that element of uncertainty. Trouble in the time con, right? Oh, look, there's cards. Black 2, Black 3, Black 4. These are events that happen on several turns. So you got to come up with all this stuff. You got to write it all out. And if you want to play through the scenarios as written, more power to you. Can't say as I blame you, but I'm just not interested in playing in someone else's universe. Even when I was playing Void Pirates, I was just making my own stuff up, right? I wasn't using the Pyle Superverse. And oh, by the way, hey, you want to see an interesting piece of synchronicity? Check this out. Playtesting. There's the name right there. Let me see if we can zoom in. See that name? Sky Hernstrom. He is this guy right here. Sky Hernstrom. A collection of stories. See this? Thune's Vision. If you're looking for something good to read, again, I think this is available on Lulu. Oh, so good. And not only that, but man, this is just like 6 degrees of Sky Hernstrom. He drew that for me so I could have a cool... this is the actual cover of Planet 28. If you're shopping for it, look for this. But when I had my own hard copy, so you got to buy them PDF, and then I printed them all up on Lulu with the spiral binding. So this is all Sky, baby. He's all up in my... I'm just a big fan of Sky Hernstrom, what can I tell you? He's a good guy. You should go buy his book. It's called Thune's Vision. Lulu.com. So anyway, I don't want to have to go through all of this writing, particularly because... here's a neat little... Right? This is a pretty easy one. Hey, there's some cars on a highway. I bet you got some Matchbox cars. I bet you got a gray tablecloth. Hey, you're done. But I don't want to have to go through and try to balance all these because you've seen me do this. When it comes to wargame design and scenario design, I'm a really good player and not a great designer. So again, there's a whole, but you know, for you guys, there's 100 pages of scenarios in here. You probably knock yourself out. It's probably really good, just not for me. So what I did to make this work is I ordered Super System by Scott Pyle. I'm going to go ahead and order up the superhero version of this rule set. It's the same basic rules as Void Pirates and Gold System Delves. I'm not going to go into it right now, but that's what Slugfest is. Ain't nobody else on YouTube talking about this. I wouldn't even talk about it, except I care about you, viewer. And I want you to know what this is like, because you might like it. And now you know. Till next time, I'm praying for you.